Sup gamers, Rainy Potato here with the latest patch notes for Darkest Dungeon 2. This is the latest update on the experimental branch. These are base game updates intended to be released alongside the latest DLC, which is coming out next week, December 11th, with the two new heroes, Crusader and the Duelist, along with the new Warlord enemy. So, a few changes here. Just some tweaks, some quality of life stuff. We'll go ahead and go through it. This is on the experimental branch right now. Anyone can play it on the experimental branch. And then next week, these will all go live in the main game alongside the DLC. So as far as just quality of life stuff, you can now remove positive quirks at the hospital. This is a big thing people have been asking for. Most notably for like Breacher, Plague Doctor, stuff like that. So, good change, although I enjoyed playing around Breacher. It's not like you get it a lot, so I enjoyed it, but it's also good, you know, to have control. So I'm happy with that. New combat round encounters. If you guys play the base game now, you'll see there is a new faction. It's basically just warriors along with a barricade. Likely to be connected in some way to the Crusader. That's just very likely. There's also a new barricade thing. You guys can look it up if you play the experimental branch. Added rank highlight to indicate which monster is guarding the selected target. It's good. Knowing things is good. Alright, here's a big one. Added party and hero loadout saving. So you can save your favorite parties, and most importantly to me, you can now save skill loadouts. This will be a big time saver for like me, because you know, if I run Alchemist, I run basically the same skills every time. If I run Surgeon, it's an entirely different skill set. Now you can save different loadouts and just pick them instead of reselect everything, especially since you can now select skill number, the order of your skills to go along with. So that'll also help for like resetting your character after getting spending a region with a negative quirk that messed up your order. Achievement list to the profile summary UI. Cool, sure. Updated icons seen in the travelogue for certain deliverable items. New Crossroads UI, that's good, since they're adding new characters. Updated Stagecoach UI and repositioning the equipment slots and move pet naming to it. That's cool. A lot of people didn't know about pet naming because for some reason it was under the conditions tab. So now more people can get their pets named, which is Pog. Updated description of days. So interaction with actions, not churns. Cool. I never had a problem with that, but I'm not a moron. Fix an issue where extra actions were incorrectly counting towards cooldown values. Okay, that's did they? I guess I didn't notice that they... Oh, that's going to change some things, huh? With the extra turns. Makes Encore slightly weaker, right? And the double turn thing. That actually changes some combat. You don't often get, you know, with Temptation, what's the other one? Readout. Broken Clock. That makes them slightly less valuable. Alright, and then we got some nerfs here. Take Aim Plus no longer grants a speed token. This isn't a great nerf, because what path are you running most likely with a Take Aim Highwind build? You're running Sharp Shot, right? Who's already quite fast. I guess it's okay. Take Aim is still very, very strong. So does this really nerf it? Not really. But sure, whatever. Man-at-Arms got a nerf with Crush. Crush, I feel like, was too strong, considering Man-at-Arms is already an OP tank and an OP stress healer. They don't need OP damage, especially with Vanguard path. Especially since Vanguard already gives you HP. It already gives you, you know, the riposte damage. You don't need this, right? You don't need the Crush damage. The thing is, Man-at-Arms was very respectable as a DPS, and this isn't a huge change either. You know, it's net -1 damage, so You're still going to do damage with Crush, unless you're Sergeant or Bulwark, I guess. But now I do disagree with the Rampart damage reduction. I never found Rampart to be that powerful, frankly. And I still think Vanguard's the way to go. Although, maybe with some of the changes in this update, Bulwark will become more valuable. But I didn't see any reason to nerf Bulwark and Rampart. Now, this is a very interesting change. We all know Retribution is, I don't know, top 2, top 3 skill in the game. Retribution has now increased the cooldown to 2. Now, the cooldown is still 1 on Retribution Plus. And Retribution Plus no longer grants block. This makes Retribution... Retribution wasn't really an upgrade target. Now Retribution, any Man-at-Arms build, Retribution is an in-1 upgrade priority. This makes Man-at-Arms a little more mastery hungry. So, decent change. It's not a huge change. You just have to spend a mastery point earlier to get the same benefit. You don't get the block, so this makes stand fast a little bit better for under the Bulwark build. But with Man-at-Arms HP, I think I'm okay without, you know, regular block. Riposte has also been nerfed. This is fine. That's never been the primary, you know, Retribution's never been a damage ability, really. It's to strip tokens, to taunt, and stuff like that. And Bolster also no longer removes Vuln or Weak. This is fine. Bolster is OP. It was very rare. It was a nice thing to do, like when you have an extra turn. But, you know, no one really used Bolster for these purposes primarily. Not really an interesting nerf or anything. Updated tooltip, blah, blah, blah. Collector. Collector can now only spawn once per region. Collected heads now only spawn with an extra action in the first round. So this is a big collector nerf. I kind of like it. So I never had a real problem with the collector, but certain teams can struggle. And I do think you were definitely incentivized not to kill the heads, which is a little awkward. Because, you know, they're going to spawn in with a free action right away. I definitely think they should get the free action in the first round. I'm glad they kept this in right here. I'm okay with them not getting free turns once they spawn in after you kill them once. This makes Collector a little more reasonable. Do we really need it to only spawn once per region? Not really. I enjoyed the multiple Collector fights. But they were pretty rare anyways, so not a huge deal. And this is the other big change. The Act 4 boss, the Ravenous Reach, now ignores stealth. This is the Phase 1 attack where they do setback. As you guys know, this was the easiest way to cheese the boss. It was absolutely disgusting, just completely destroying Phase 1. All you have to do is pick up one of the stealth. Why do I not even know what that's called? But it just makes it free. Now, it's still not too bad. But now you at least need either dodge or block, along with either immobilize or move resist in order to get through Phase 1. This also makes it a little more important to rush Phase 1. Whereas if you were using stealth cheese, you could sit in Phase 1 forever if you wanted to. Not that that's a huge thing, but if you were playing some sort of buff build, it would work. So decent change. It's not going to make the Act 4 boss really any harder, I don't think. Just good to get rid of the nonsense. When items are gained in combat, they will now appear in the post-combat reward screen. Decent change. Increased chance for sluice items to appear from their respective enemies. That's good. Makes the sluice more valuable. You get more of the unique items. Just being able to find, you know, having your decisions matter, your region selections, you know, taking fights, having things like that matter, makes the run as a whole matter more. Makes it so you can, you know, do builds rather than just randomly random. Can no longer obtain multiple copies of signature in items. Natural, no one cares. Blah, 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 blah. Crimson Tick. So apparently Crimson Tick was an 8% drop chance. And they're just going to fix the tooltip. Regen when hit while dazed. I still never use this nonsense trinket. Fix tooltip. Now this is an interesting change. Smoldering Firewood, the Vestal trinket. You can now burn on any ranged skill. Makes that trinket much stronger. Am I gonna buy it? Is it something you buy still? Probably not. But especially assuming the Crusader has fire. Between the Crusader, we're gonna have more options for backdraft stuff with Runaway. Any sort of, burn stuff. Gonna be very interesting, I think, this update, as far as in the burn category. All right, now this is an interesting change. Footman's Grog, which is the unique Tangle trinket, Dreaming General trinket. Effects now apply to each hero rather than just the hero equipping it. Grog was kind of mid. This makes Grog pretty strong now. I mean, in some cases it was still strong, but apply to each hero is kind of, wow, I did not expect that at all. Glimmer of Hope is now flammable. And this is probably the biggest trinket change I've seen. Chance to apply combo while in rank 4. This Foreclosure Notice is a unique trinket for the Grave Robber. Chance to apply combo while in rank 4 increased from 33% to 50%. Huge change. Healing received debuff, which is one of the biggest drawbacks for Foreclosure Notice. It's why I didn't run it that much. Among, adding combo is good, but you don't really want to take a downside just to get more combo, generally. But now the healing received debuff is negligible. This makes Foreclosure Notice basically a mandatory equip whenever you see it. And I really like, they're the unique trinkets, hero trinkets. Like, they should be something you want to equip, right? And also adds 2 stealth tokens upon a successful hit. This also makes Grave Robber with Foreclosure Notice much, much stronger. Grave Robber was already very strong in Act 3 with the new Act 3 changes, with stealth mattering. This just makes Grave Robber much better. Faceless Visage. I don't know if anyone ever used this trinket. This is the random shuffle trinket. It now shuffles the enemy on round start rather than just combat start. That makes it much... It's still a meme, right? But at least it's a funnier meme. I'll probably pick this up first time I see it on the new update patch, just for the memes. It's funnier now. It's not good, but it's funnier now. Unwavering Standard. That's the Man-at-Arms, right? Is that chance to apply block for each ally increased? I don't remember. Silent Treatment. They buffed Silent Treatment. It was already decent. But now you can get either a 50% chance for a stealth token or a small chance at 2, which obviously really helps. Silent Treatment, that's the crit on stealth. Murder Weapon got a slight buff. It still sucks. With Execution, I just don't think... I never see, especially with bosses not having Death's Door generally. I guess like mini bosses like Exemplar and the lair bosses, but act bosses don't, except for Act 2. So I just don't see a huge reason for this. All right, and here are the big changes. They have changed the healing items to a flat number heal rather than a percentage heal. This is a huge buff for low HP heroes, obviously, and a decent nerf to like your Giga Monster. This is kind of a nerf to Bumper Crop, to your juiced Flagellants, Man-at-Arms, Lepers, your 100 HPers. They're still strong, obviously. Healing Salves, Adrenaline Tonics, and of course Healing Salve, Adrenaline Tonic. These are basically full heals now for paths such as like Alchemist. This is another Alchemist buff, by the way, which is kind of manga. Makes me wonder if they're looking at changing percentage heal for heals as well, but probably not. At least that would probably be down the line. But this makes these interesting. This is basically the same for like for your average heroes. It's just gonna be a change on the top end. You know, your top end heroes and your low end heroes get a slight buff. So we'll see how that feels. Stitching kits are a little bit better. This will definitely matter some if you have a Giga HP guy. Although the thing is, traveling heal is pretty strong, which is why Stitching Kit has never felt good at all. Fixes. These just look like minor things. Just fixes. Lol. I did see this. Flagellant will no longer become jealous when there's a healed or curative dots, and they'll no longer gain affinity with heroes that heal him or cure him of dots. Pretty interesting. Will it have much impact on the game? Probably not, but it is funny. And funny is good. Anyway, so, yes, there are changes to the game coming, even if you are either not playing the DLC or, you know, alongside the DLC. My guess is we'll also need... The next patch we'll need after this DLC will be Hero Rebalance. We'll be at roughly half of the heroes having the new path system, where individual skills are changed, and half of the heroes still on the archaic, absolutely boring, you know, oh, plus 10% damage, plus 10% HP, you know, plus dot penetration. They're going to have to change the boring paths. They're going to have to make the game more interesting. Especially, it kind of adds complexity, the new path system. So they're definitely going to have to... they're going to have to, in order to nerf some of the stronger paths, such as Alchemist, they're going to have major changes to the way the game functions, which will help the longevity of the game to have better balance, obviously. Thank you for watching. Again, I'll be on next week. The goal is daily videos through December. We'll see if I can do that with my new full-time job. But day one, I will definitely have videos out. I will have a hero guide for the Crusader, week 1. Duelist may take longer because Duelist is pretty fancy. I'll have a Warlord guide. We will have runs. We will have fun runs. We'll have usual suspects. So stay tuned, and thank you all for the support this year. It was a great year, and good night.